everyone, welcome to The Founder's Chair. The Founder's Chair is a podcast where we dive deep into the lives of business owners to find out what it's really like to run your own business. I'm Lauren Brannan and I will be your host. And today we are joined by the wonderful Sandrina Cecchini from Cecchini Properties. Thank you so much for joining us, Sandrina. It's amazing to have you.
You're welcome, Lauren. Thank you so much for my invite.
Why don't you just kick us off by telling us a little bit about yourself? Like, where are you from? Where did you grow up? Where do you live now? Have you got any family?
I'm from Troon. I'm born in Irvine. Grew up in Troon. My parents are still there. My brother's still there, but we live in Prestwick now, so
Okay.
just 5 minutes away, which is lovely.
Yeah.
I am a mum. I've got three grown-up daughters
Wow.
and three granddaughters. So
Oh, wow,
busy,
amazing.
busy lady.
So I was going to ask you if you had any hobbies, but I imagine with three daughters and three granddaughters, you don't have time and
No, I
running your own
don't have
business.
time. I don't have time. No, as I was thinking, hobbies, what do I do? No, I
Yeah.
honestly, my time off is with the family and friends,
Oh,
and
fantastic.
often on a Sunday morning making pancakes for the wee ones when they come round. That's their favourite
Brilliant.
thing. Come to their nanas for pancakes.
Oh, I love that. That'll be such a core memory that will live with them forever, though. So that's so
Yeah.
nice.
Mhm.
Have you got any sort of funny stories that your family have about you that you wouldn't
Oh,
mind sharing?
so you did ask me about to think about this, and so I texted my girls last night, and oh my God, we had such a laugh. You know,
Rhyming
so
loads off, I imagine.
rhyming loads off. They've got loads to tell, but the one that had me, and the tears were running down my face. But I'm not going into the whole story because it's quite embarrassing. But
Right.
it was about a night that I'd gone out with a friend, and we'd gone out for dinner, and we had quite a lot of alcohol, and
Okay.
something happened that night. We'll just leave it there. And they laugh about it all the time, and they bring it up from time to time. Well, not very often, thank goodness. But yeah, that was so funny.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. But no, Susie said to me, she says the funniest thing was I used to have Zara every second weekend. We have her for an overnight, and she never slept for her mum and dad at home, and she always slept for me. And so I would send pictures of her in the morning. So this morning she was lying in bed with me and Susie says, Mum, why have you dressed her in her clothes for during the day? That's her outfit for the next day. I thought it was her jams. But what made her laugh more was when she was a wee girl, I sent her to nursery in a pair of jammies that she'd got for her birthday. It wasn't until I went into Asda I realised they were pajamas. They
They weren't
were
actual clothes. Oh, brilliant.
your
She
kids
thought
have
you were
always got.
sending, putting her to bed in her clothes and going to send her out the next day in her jammies.
I know that's it. So that's what I'm renowned for.
Oh, brilliant. I love that. I love the fact that you can just laugh with them and like it's and have a joke and take the mickey, which is brilliant. That's what life's all about, you know. So
That's it. That's it. To laugh. Got to laugh.
Tell us more about your company and tell us a wee bit about like how you started it.
So Cecchini property is 5 years old this year. And I started it 3 weeks before lockdown,
Wow.
2020. Unknown to me, that lockdown was that was all going to happen to our country, to the
Yeah,
world,
that's
really.
bad timing.
Well, that's what everybody said, but you know what? It came at the right time for me,
Wow, right, amazing.
Lauren, because I just locked myself in the spare bedroom
Hmm.
and worked away at setting up my business the way that I wanted it set up.
Brilliant.
I and I sell property. That's it's an estate agency, and my thing was nobody else was selling. Nobody else could do anything for 3 months, so I had 3 months to prepare.
Yeah.
And my husband said, he says, you just go and lock yourself in your room. And where everybody else was outside enjoying the sunshine, drinking,
Yeah.
whatever, and you would just be, in your office. So that's where it all began. And Lauren, I'm still in the spare bedroom.
Oh, really? Oh, fantastic.
And, you know, people buy property online. There's no need to have a high street presence.
Yeah,
I have been thinking this year, oh, maybe I should get a wee office just to get out the house, but that's just a personal thing.
yeah,
That's not
yeah.
really for anything for anybody else. That's just for me personally.
Because you have been
Um,
in your spare room for the past 5 years, yeah.
5 years, yeah, yeah. And just sometimes it is nice to go out and,
Yeah.
um, sort of thing. But the way that I set it up, I've just continued it as it is.
Mhm.
Um, so
Oh, fantastic. So lockdown actually gave you the time to focus and to make your company what you wanted. Whereas if we didn't have lockdown and the world just went on as normal, you maybe wouldn't have had that time to kind of
I
to get
wouldn't
the
have.
business to where you wanted it
I
to be.
wouldn't have. Yeah, exactly. And nobody could go out. So I set up a very strong online um, social media presence. Always was very active on Facebook, not so much Instagram, and that's something that I need to learn more about. I always say it's for young people, and but yeah, I just built that up, and now I've got 15,000 followers,
Wow,
which
that's
is
brilliant.
brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
It's even
But
like
that,
the algorithm and trying to get the followers and things like that on Facebook. It's really hard. So growing it up to that
mhm.
amount is such an
Yeah,
achievement.
yeah, yeah. And then when lockdown finished, my phone just started to ring. But as I say, it wasn't just social media. I was phoning people. I've been selling property. I've been in selling property for 11 years now.
Wow.
So, yeah, I was known for it, but I'd
Yeah.
worked for other companies. So when people knew that I was setting up my own, they wanted to support me because they knew what I did. And I'm pretty well known as well, which is
That
very
helps.
much helps. Yeah. And the family are well known. So, yeah, it's
Brilliant.
all that.
And at what point did you know that you wanted to have your own business and you didn't want to work for for someone else forever?
Um, Do you know what, Lauren? I was pushed. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't really happy at work. Um, I was working in property auction at the time, and I'd been there for 2 years, and I'd loved the experience of learning it all and whatever, but it was very impersonal.
Mhm.
Um, I am a person, I'm a people's person, and I kind of began to understand that. But also, yeah, somebody I worked with was making it quite uncomfortable for me. And I thought, I'm too old for this. I'm not, I've been brought up to enjoy what you do. You work, most of your life.
Yep.
If you don't enjoy your work, well, you're wasting your life. And I thought, I have to do something. I just got married again in the October, and the January we'd had uh, quite a bit of time off at Christmas time, and I woke up in the January, and I won't tell you what my first thoughts in my head were in the morning, and that's when I knew I had to change it.
Yeah.
I had to change what I was doing. So I did have somebody that wanted me to run their agency for them. And I'll be honest with you, she let me down twice.
Right.
Like an appointment to meet her to chat about it. And I thought, I don't want to work with you. I don't
Yeah.
want to work with this. And then somebody else had approached me to set up my own business. And I went along and I listened to it was Keller Williams. I'll
Mhm.
be honest with you, I partnered with them, came under their umbrella to start off with. But I broke away 2 years later. That's another story. But um, I, it, it gave me the opportunity to take a risk.
Mhm.
Because setting up your own business, leaving a paid job is a risk.
Time. Hmm.
but it was a calculated risk, and I thought, "Do you know what, I can do this." Business is in my blood. My
Yeah.
parents were in business, they're retired now, but my brother is. My three daughters have got their own business as
Wow.
well. So it's yeah, it wasn't as frightening to me, I suppose. The only thing I would say, I was questioning myself. I'm like, am I too old for this now?
Oh,
Am I
right.
too
Okay.
old to start?
Never.
Oh, and I'd also had quite harrowing health diagnosis as well. I was diagnosed with MS
Right.
7 years ago. And so I always had that in the back of my head, thinking, oh, do I need this? But
Okay.
then as everything just kind of fell into place, and I always say this in life, things do fall into place. And I thought, no, I do need this because I need to be able to control my own time.
Hmm.
And if I've got doctor's appointments or hospital appointments or whatever, to be able to get time off work, I
Yeah.
felt it's unfair on an employer as well. Whereas if I was my own boss, I, I was in control.
Yeah, you could give yourself that time. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's it. That's it. So,
Would you
yeah,
say if it wasn't for Keller Williams kind of approaching you, then was that what really pushed you into starting your own business then?
yeah, it was. It was. Possibly would have done it because my husband kept on saying, "Why don't you do it for yourself?"
Yeah, yeah.
Sort of thing. And I've had that over the years. I ran an estate agents, a small one in Troon before, and everybody thought it was my business. So I kind of, managed to turn that one around. So I
Yeah.
kind of knew that I could do it, but going out on your own, it is scary,
Yeah, absolutely. And did you
you
have
know.
your family, were they all like motivating you and cheering you on kind of
Yeah,
pushing you to do
yeah,
it?
and
Brilliant.
especially my children, especially them, they were like, "Mom, this is what you've taught us. So listen to yourself now, just do it because living with regrets, you don't want to live with regrets.
Exactly. You
Uh,
regret not doing it, but you would
not
never
doing
regret
something.
doing it. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So that's why.
Oh,
Um,
amazing. And what would you say has been like your biggest learning since having your own business?
um, my biggest learning is if something's not working, don't dilly-dally, change
Mm.
it.
Hmm.
Like Keller Williams wasn't working for me anymore. And I did think about that quite a lot before I changed it. Maybe I should have changed it earlier, but anyway, I did. I took the plunge and I did that. But there's been other changes that I've had to make,
Yeah,
throughout the time. And I have done. And yeah, it's not been easy. As my brother said, if being in business for yourself was easy, everybody would
yeah,
do it.
exactly.
You know, it's not, but you have to, and just keep going with the times, going with not, yes, you've got to have a vision, you've got to have a real desire for what you want to do. But if nobody wants that product or that service, what's the point?
But yeah, yeah, exactly.
Or if your business, sometimes your structure, and it was the business structure that I had to change. That was another, turning point for me that I had to make a decision and change. Because I thought this is not why I went into business. This
Yeah,
wasn't my why. My why. Now
yeah,
my why is very different. I think because of when I started it, and for various reasons to somebody younger,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah,
you know.
absolutely, yeah.
But
I like the fact that you're talking about your why as well, because a lot of people will have their goals and their what in mind, but the why is the most important part, which is what I've
mhm,
been kind of learning over the past few years. Um, that's like some amazing advice as well. So if it's don't wait to change something if you know it's not working, basically.
mhm, mhm, mhm. And if
So
something's really working, don't change it. That's the
Yeah,
other
yeah,
one.
of course. Don't
Something's really working. Yeah, just tweak it, make it better, but don't make a
stay
huge.
relevant. Yeah, but you don't
Uh-huh,
need to
uh-huh.
change everything.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah.
What about your biggest challenge since in the past 5 years, let's say?
Um, and the biggest challenge was when the interest rates were climbing and climbing and climbing. And all of a sudden, I think it was October 2022, and
Hmm.
literally the phone stopped ringing.
Yeah, no one could buy a house.
And nobody,
Yeah.
fear was put into people. And when fear happens, people stop buying.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that is when I had a guy I had working for me. He was doing what I was doing, but he was based in Edinburgh, and he was offered a job with a, a company I used to work for years and years ago. He was asked to run the company. It
Right,
was a
okay.
great opportunity for him, a massive opportunity, and I supported him 100%. But then I had two admin people, and I didn't have enough work for them. And
Yeah.
so I had to then make a decision and change the structure of what I was doing. But
Hmm.
it's all worked out. And yeah, but that was hard. That was hard. But
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine like that must be like that's things that other industries don't even realize, when you're not in the kind of a real estate industry that how much that will affect you as a business as well. So wow.
yeah, absolutely.
If you had to pick three people like in your whole business journey that have or three groups of people if you would rather that have helped you on like your business growth journey and that you're grateful for, what would you say?
Well, I have to say, I'm ever grateful for Eve Foster. And she was how they brought me into KW. And I
Oh,
have to give her
fantastic.
credit for that. I mean, and we're still friends. We're still friends. And
Good.
then and then I ended up working with and I'm still connected with the colleagues. They work for themselves, the work for other companies that I used to work with way back at the beginning. There's Andy Reid and Darren Lee. Darren's in Glasgow, Andy's in Inverness. I'm forever grateful for them as well. And quite often we'll pick up the phone to each other,
Yeah,
and ask. But at one point, our paths crossed again at KW. So yeah, and so they've been a huge inspiration to me as
yeah,
well. But my husband, he's been a rock. He's been a
yeah,
real, and Lynn, who works for me now as well, she is amazing, and I've trained her up, and she does what I do, and I can leave her, although I'm always at the end of the phone.
yeah, yeah, of course.
And but she is just wonderful. She's just great,
Oh, fantastic.
and um, and my wee dog, Alfie.
Oh,
Alfie is my obviously he's head of marketing.
yeah,
I don't know if you've looked at any of my social media, but he's all over it because
yeah.
he has brought me so many followers as well.
Oh,
And
brilliant.
people love dogs
Yeah.
and kids and yeah, so yeah,
You'll need to
they've
get Alfie on the Meet the Team on the website, marketing
I
manager.
do actually, I do.
Oh, brilliant. I love that.
Yeah.
What's the next big thing for you, Sandrina, in your business? If you look at the next
Oh,
couple of years, what's the next big part of growth that's coming up?
do you know, Lauren, when I say I'm a very creative person. My background's interior design. So
Okay,
I'll
yeah.
I'll be together. It'll be something along those
It'll be
lines, I
something
think.
wonderful.
It'll be something along those lines. We're working on a few bits and pieces. I would say I've become a property disruptor in
Right.
Ayrshire, and I'm always, like in my head, one step ahead, sort of thing, and I see other agencies following me. Oh,
Yeah,
do
well,
this,
that's
do that,
always a good
whatever.
thing when you see people
I
copying
know,
you.
I know, I know. I get so frustrated, and then I think, just
Take it as a
this way.
compliment.
It's
Yeah.
okay. It's a compliment, whether it's Facebook posts or whatever I'm doing. And I know eyes are all over us, but somebody said to me, nobody can ever be you.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but we do, yeah, we do a whole lot more other than just sell property. That's the thing,
Mm.
So it'll be, I'm just growing this very organically as well. I think is the
Yeah,
right word.
not rushing it.
I'm
Yeah.
no, I'm not. But again, I think that's an age thing. If I'd done this 10, 15 years ago, it might have been different.
Mm.
But I'm in a different stage of my life, Lauren, and I've got a lot more wisdom as
Yeah.
well.
Mm.
And sometimes you're pushing things that are difficult.
Yeah.
And I believe if you've got a desire, and still have that huge desire, and basically it's to help people in
Yeah.
their property journey.
Yeah.
And I'm bringing in different bits and pieces. So we're always I'm always thinking one step ahead, right? What
Yeah.
could we do?
Oh,
What could we do?
brilliant. And I think like you know now as well what else is important in life. And if you did push the business too hard, then you wouldn't have all this time, the time to spend with your family and your grandkids now as well. So
And I don't have a lot of time because
yeah,
I still
exactly.
work full time. And try and fit in lots of other um, things as well. So yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Brilliant.
There are other important things in my life as well.
Exactly. Well, that's it.
Yeah.
And then just before we finish up, Sandrina, if you have any advice to have to anyone that's just starting out in business or anyone that's trying to do it on their own, what's the piece of advice you would give?
Yeah, I think we touched on it earlier. It's about your why.
Yeah,
You've got to have a huge
so
why,
important.
and enjoy what you do. There's
Yeah,
no point in coming up with a great idea and if you hate it, because it doesn't matter what you do. If you've got a passion for it, you'll be a success.
yeah, yeah,
And I think that's my biggest bit of advice. Yeah, that's it.
yeah. If you don't enjoy it anymore, then change it.
And change it. That's exactly it.
Oh, fantastic. Well, you've got some amazing advice. And thank you so much for coming on. It was wonderful to learn more about you and to learn more about your business. If anyone does want to go onto your website, will we give that a wee shout out?
Yes, please.
Go
That's
for it.
chickeniproperty.com.
Fantastic. So thank you so much once again, and thank you to all of our listeners. That is it for the Founders Chair this week, and we will see you all next week.
Thank you.